DIM,
Yeah.
and it's funny. It says a woman's health, but it helps lower your
Estrogen.
estrogen.
Yeah.
I haven't taken this in a hot minute, but honestly, when I did take it for a while, like weeks every day, I noticed that honestly, my man boobs kind of shrunk.
Yep. Yep.
My man boobs went down. My belly fat was kind of slimming a little bit faster,
Mhm.
and I felt less moody
Yeah.
when I was taking it every day. And he got me on boron. I take this about once a week.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I would suggest you take it every day.
every day.
Obviously, it's a lot of supplements to manage, and I too take a lot of different things. But it's kind of just
Hmm.
having it built in. It's like the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I walk into my closet where I keep my supplements and dish out everything before I'm even really awake.
Hmm. I feel like I have my own pharmacy, dude.
That's what I joke about people is that I have my own micro pharmacy and I'm a I'm a I'm a drug addict but a healthy one.
Right? I'm a healthy drug addict, and my friends are just like, "Dude, you're taking so many supplements." I'm like, "But I feel great.
Yeah.
I truly feel great." And I bet you there's a lot of supplements out there that don't do anything,
Yeah.
and they're just there for the shits and giggles for people to spend money. But there is a lot also that are meant to help you.
As far as
And
junk, I'm starting to wonder if She Legit's one of them because I've tried 4 different She Legit brands, and I hear a lot of people talk about, oh, this is great, and it's got all these different micro minerals in it. It's like I can't tell much of a difference.
you don't tell much of a difference either.
No.
Neither do I.
Yeah, and I've tried like the fulvic acid complex. I've tried the raw. I've tried a
Hmm.
couple different brands. It's just I don't really notice much, and it's one of those things that like in the natural kind of space, as far as natural health community, if you get what I'm saying, it kind
Hmm.
of gets promoted as like this like god source of like testosterone or whatever. It's like it's not. Sorry, I hate to bust your bubble,
It's not, dude.
but I wanted to give a little bit of background as far as taking DIM. It's not something I recommend for everybody. Most
Hmm.
people don't really need estrogen control management, but something that we had talked about is that you were concerned about having low testosterone as far
Hmm.
as being some of the libido struggles that you had when you were 320 pounds. And
Hmm.
there's a reason why for that, which is that you have higher aromatase enzymes to take testosterone, convert it into estrogen when you have higher body fat. And then part of that too is if you spend so many months and years where that you're in that state of higher estrogen, it's going to bring your testosterone down. So your brain essentially develops a habit where it's not as good at signaling for testosterone as it used to be. So
Hmm.
part of taking that DIM supplement is that we're going to kind of, and there's a lot of different ways to control estrogen, but when you take a natural supplement, it's going to bring estrogen down by like this.
Hmm.
And then because that you're starting to turn the gears again in the brain as far as kicking on the system slowly in more of a natural way as you're losing this body fat to where that when you get down to a goal weight or you start getting pretty lean where that you're 17-16% body fat or less, it really actually starts to come back online because that'd be a terrible scenario that you have to go on testosterone replacement therapy at a younger age because there wasn't anything that was done to in order to kick it back online.
Hmm. I didn't know that.
Because honestly, that's probably my situation. So I was struggling with pretty low testosterone when I was heavy. So I was about
Hmm.
this was COVID 2020. I was 6 foot. Well, I've always been 6 foot. uh, I weighed about 255. I lost like a couple of pounds because I started training jujitsu, and I just felt off and I felt groggy all the time, and just like you said, nothing was working properly. So
Hmm.
I get testosterone test, and I have a 332 nanogram per deciliter total testosterone at 19 years old. Which, by the way, if you are a Caucasian male between your 20s and 30s, you should probably be knocked on 900 total. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
that threw me for a loop, and then I lost a lot of this weight and wasn't really doing anything for it. And then I started doing some different protocols to try to kick that back online. So I've got up to about 500 almost. But the reality is that if I'm gonna hit that 900 level, I can't do it naturally. I'm gonna have to take the T.
Really?
Yeah, without question.
So if you think you started dim earlier, it wouldn't be as bad?
I wish I started dim. I wish I had started. So there's a classification of drugs called SERMs. They're selective estrogen receptor modulators.
Hmm.
So what they're going to do is that they're going to go into the body. They're going to block it. They're going to block estrogen, and essentially send a signal to the brain that says, "Hey, we have no estrogen. We gotta start making testosterone." Because that's how the body gets its estrogen in men is testosterone converting into estrogen which you need some estrogen for brain function and bone health and a lot of this different stuff. You can't go without estrogen, but a part of that will go to the brain and turn that back on. That works for some people and they can recover to a good testosterone. For other people, it doesn't. But that was something that I just never touched. So could I do that now? Maybe, but there's a potential that I've gone 7 to 8 years with a low testosterone amount, and with a lot of things that I've tried already. How likely is it that taking a borderline kind of risky drug and risky not in the sense that it could cause severe side effects, but one of the things that can cause is like vision issues and moodiness and stuff like this. If the other things that I have tried have not really worked that well as I hope for, how likely is this going to do it? Probably not.
Mhm.
So,
I got you.
and that's one thing that unfortunately doesn't get talked about, because you would think that it would be therapeutic that when someone is trying to bring down their body fat, that you would want to be on some sort of protocol like this. But
Mhm.
the simple reality is that you got to find a special endocrinologist who can give this to you. But then you're starting these drugs that are going to manually increase your testosterone while that you are overweight. Your estrogen is going to get blown through the roof. So then you also have to have an estrogen control in that, which is dim, but also probably another drug called Arimidex, which is just going to completely just shut off estrogen from working in your body entirely. It can actually be kind of mentally disorienting, because some guys will complain that they're pre-apathetic and emotionless and can't sleep super well, stuff like this.
Wow.
So you are playing with drugs that, like, I'm not gonna lie, you're putting yourself in the hot seat. But this is what it is
True.
that you kind of have to do to get to a natural testosterone level, unless you want TRT.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, but at the same time, I think I'm okay with being in that hot seat because I want to live a better, healthier life. And if I'm it's gonna sound crazy. If you got to risk it for the biscuit, high risk, high
Yep.
reward kind of situation where, yeah, we're all gonna die. We're all eventually, right? But I want to be able to be 70 years old and be able to still walk and have a clear mind and not be diabetic or getting surgeries for my heart
Mhm.
or have being on blood pressure medications. If I can avoid that by being on the hot seat for these supplemental experiments, I want to do it.